video from question 11, right, in this part of the video, which is to find the GCD, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to refresh this so that we don't face any problem, and I'm going to start the question from here. The question is very simple, and that is write a program to find GCD. And before you solve this question, what you need to do is you need to find out what GCD is. So GCD is basically a greatest common divisor, okay, which is the largest number, largest positive integer number that can divide two or more numbers without leaving a remainder. So for example, if there is a number, let's say 8 and 12, right, as you see on the screen, right? So what is the largest common divider between these two numbers? So can these two be divided by without leaving a remainder, right? Can you divide both by 2? Yes, you can, but you can also divide them by 4 as well. So the largest, you gotta pick the largest divider, not the smallest divider. 2 is also a divider because 2 can divide 8 and 12 without a remainder, right? But 4 can also divide. 4 divided by 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 4 is the greatest, right? Greatest common divisor, right? Between divisor between 8 and 12. So what is that? 4, number 4. So this way, this is how you, this is what you need to find. So you'll be given a 2 number in this question, and you need to find the GCD, which means the greatest common divisor. So let's start with this then. The program defines a GCD function, so you gotta start with def, okay, GCD, and because it said it takes 2 numbers, so you gotta say A and B, right? And it repeatedly subtract the smaller number from the larger number until one of them becomes 0. That's the trick of the whole thing. So at which point the other number becomes GCD. So but if your number, one of the number is 0, right? For example, B is 0, right? So you gotta return A because that's GCD, okay? And if this is not the case, right, else, right, that's why you put else there. If this is not the case, then you do is you put a while loop, right? You put a while loop and you start with while B is not equal to 0, right? While B is not equal to 0, your while loop will continue running, and all you have to do is you have to see if A is greater than B, then you basically minus A is equal to A minus B. So you subtract B from A, right? And you keep doing that if as long as A is greater than B, okay? And if A is not greater than B, right, in this case you subtract A from B, right? So you set you do the vice versa. If A is greater than B, then you subtract B from A and set the new value, and if not, then you subtract A from B, right? So this way, whatever is greater, you subtract from it, right? So this is the trick, okay? And you keep doing it until you get your what you call it, the GCD, right? Now this, you may be a little confused how that's going to work, so we will explain that with an example. You don't need to worry about that at this stage. Let's take an input from the user. We need to take 2 number, right? So because it's GCD, so we say we need to this is the function I've already written, so now we need to write code to take 2 number from the user. So we'll do input, right, and then we do enter first number, right? That's it. And then we do same thing we do with the second number as well. We say number 2, okay, and we do integer and we say input, and within that we say enter second number, and that's it. And then we take these two numbers and we put because it returns the GCD actually, so that will be result, right? So you gotta call GCD function and pass these number 1 and number 2, and it will return you the GCD, right? And then you can just print that, right? You can just print the result, and you can say that, or like this, right? You can say the GCD of right, number 1, and then you could say num and, right, then you comma, then you say number 2, then you put is, okay, and you can put this colon, and then you just print the result, right? And this will print the GCD. Now I think up to here is clear, but I think what is not clear is probably this part, right? So let me explain you this, how this works with an example. So let's first do what I initially said, 8 and 4. So let's pass 4 and 8 and see if it sorry, 8 and 12, because that's the example I gave you in the beginning, right? 8 and 12, and let's see. And what is the GCD of 8 and 12? What is the greatest number that divides both? Is 4. So let's see if this gives us 4 or not. First we're gonna get rid of a couple of errors. So number 4, let's do one by one. So here we need a colon, right? And where else the colon is missing? Often it's a colon, right? So when you finish your program, you check, you put all the colons or not. Okay, here we go. All right, the first number is, let's say, 8, second number is 12, and then the GCD is 4. See here, it gives you the exactly right answer. Now let's see how that does it, right? So when we said 8, right, here, and 12 here, right, it went like this, right? B became 12 and A became 8, right? So that basically 8 and that's 12. Let's start from here, right? Then we say if B is equal to 0, because if B is 0, then the other number is automatically, if B was 0, then the GCD would be 8, right? Because between 0 and 12, GCD would be, sorry, from between 8 and 0, GCD would be 8. Because if one digit is 0, the other one is GCD. But that's not the case. So we go into else part and we say while B is not equal to 0, okay? So what is B right now? 12. If B is greater than A, is B greater than A? Yes, B is greater than A because A is 8 and B is 12. Then A is equal to A minus B. So what is A? A is already 8. 8 minus B is what? Yeah. 8 minus B is equal to what? Yeah, that's how you're gonna get, right? 8 minus B. Yeah, because A is greater. Sorry. A is not greater than B. That's wrong. A is not greater than B. As we can see, A is 8, right? And B is 12. So A is not greater than B. Yeah, because A is less than B. Because A is 8, B is 12. So this will not come here. It will come into else part and it will say B is equal to B plus minus A. So what is B? 12. Okay, what is A? Minus 4. Okay, so 12 minus 4 is equal to 4. So what is B now? B is set to 4, right? And then it goes back in there again in the loop and check if B is not equal to 0. Yes, because B is 4. It comes here, is A greater than B? Yes, A is 8, B is 4 now, right? B is 4, okay? And that's true, A is greater than B. So it would be 8, A is equal to 8 minus 4. What is 8 minus 4? Right? 8 minus 4, A would become what? 4, right? So now A is also 4 and B is also 4, right? A is 4 and B is also 4. And it goes back in there, B is not equal to 0. Yes. Is A greater than B? Yes. No, because both are 4. It goes into else part and B is equal to B minus A. So B is 4 and A is 4 and that will be, B becomes 0. Okay. B becomes 0 and A is 4. A is already 4 and B would become 0 because of this last iteration, right? Last, last calculation. And then it goes back in there and check B is not equal to 0. No, B is equal to 0 now. And that's where the loop will break. So when the loop breaks, A would be 4. So it will return A. And that's why here it says result will have value of 4. And when it prints, it will print GCD of 8 and 12 is 4. So what you're doing is you keep minusing it from each other, and then you get the common divider, right? So for example, let's say now we said 20 and let's say between 20 and we do another one. We do another one. Okay, we do another one, and this time we do we'll say 4, and we say 16. What is the common divider between 4 and 16, which is the largest one, right? It is 4, by the way, because 4 divides both. That's the largest one, right? And here you go. See, that's why it's giving you the right answer here, 4, right? Similarly, so the whole thing works like that. So you got to remember this code to find GCD. So if this question comes in the exam, it's going to come exactly the same way as it is there on the screen. All right, thank you. I'm going to move to the next question now. Let's do this next question, and that is question number 12, right? And that's about Fibonacci series. Okay, and I gotta